Well, guys, Lucasfilm just dropped another Star Wars thing because they do that sometimes. Now, as always, with a season premiere, I'm not going to talk spoilers, but then once I start doing week-to-week reviews, those will be spoiler-filled. This is very much just a, hey, should you check out the Skeleton Crew or not? So they did the season premiere with the first 2 episodes. I think we're like reviewers that got the show early got to watch the first 3 episodes. Very annoying. Don't know why they do that, but they always give like reviewers an extra episode than what the season premiere is. I don't know. But yeah, so I think the first thing that I really noticed about the show is the production value. Like right off the bat, it starts off with this big flashy opening sequence that is very visual effects heavy. It's very grand in scale, and it was like, oh, okay, like the show is clearly flexing its budget. And I gotta say, I am so fascinated by by the production values of Star Wars shows because they very much vary. Like sometimes you'll get a Skeleton Crew which looks very good, and it looks like they put money behind it. It looks like there's a grand scale to it. It doesn't look like they're just standing in front of the volume the entire time. You'll get an Andor or a Skeleton Crew, but then other times you'll get an Obi-Wan or a Book of Boba Fett, which looks like it costs like $5 to make. I mean, not literally, but they just look so awful. I don't understand how that disparity happens. I don't understand how like you get Andor, which is a show about a side character that looks like it got like $200 million, and then a show about Obi-Wan Kenobi, like one of your biggest and most popular Star Wars characters, looks like they only gave it like $80 million. I don't like. I have no idea. But Skeleton Crew, again, a show not really about any popular characters, looks like it has a way bigger budget. It's weird. I don't know, but it looks good. And it's not just like visual effects. There's also a whole bunch of like practical effects. Like a lot of it looks like there's a lot of puppeteering work, or I don't know if this is just a guy in a suit. Not really sure, but there's a lot of practical effects in the show as well, which look really good. Like I don't know. There's something about like it really captures that like 80s sort of practical effects where sometimes it looks a little wonky, but it has that certain charm to it that I really like. Now I remember one of the major complaints about the Skeleton Crew trailers was people would see the Star Wars suburbs and they would be like, "This isn't real Star Wars," which I don't know. It's not really a complaint that I ever cared about, but surprisingly enough, that like specific thing of like there being suburbs in Star Wars is actually addressed in the show, and it's addressed in an actually like interesting way. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but they kind of talk about that in a way. Not literally, they don't go like, why are there suburbs in Star Wars? But there's actually like story reasons as to why there are suburbs in Star Wars, and it's actually pretty interesting. So if that was a complaint of yours, I don't think you'll actually leave the first 2 episodes with that complaint specifically. But yeah, I mean, the biggest like marketing point for the show is that this is an Amblin Entertainment movie, like The Goonies, in the Star Wars universe. And with that, the story is very much told through the point of view of kids. You have this kid. I would argue he's like the main character of the show. His name is Kim. And then you have this like little elephant-looking guy. His name is Neil. He's probably my favorite character, to be honest. He's the cutest character. Again, you get like practical effects with him. Like, I have no idea if he's a puppet or if they put a little kid in a suit. Genuinely not sure. And then you have these two girls, like they're like a little duo as well. The girl on the right, her name is Fern, I think. Yeah, Fern, and she's like a rebellious girl. And then the girl on the left, she's like the tech wizard of the group. And they're a cute little group of kids. You know, they all have like different personalities. They clash and whatnot. It's, you know, it's very Goonies. It's very Stranger Things, in that way. And you even have like a bunch of like, you know, classic kid movie tropes where like you have a dad who's like, oh, I'm so busy with work that I'm neglecting my child. You know, you have like that whole trope. And yeah, it at the end of the day, it is this is a very charming show. It's going to give you a ton of nostalgia. You know, if you grew up with those classic 80s kids movies. And I think even if you're a Star Wars fan, I think there's going to be a lot for you to enjoy. Like, I think there are a lot of not references in the way of like, oh, look, some character shows up for 5 seconds, or like, oh, look, they deep faked this dead actor. Let's clap, everybody. They deep faked a dead actor and they're using him for money and profit. It's like it's not that kind of thing. It's just like Star Wars elements are used organically within the show in ways that are actually like charming and cute. I think at the end of the day, like, this is a very good show so far with the first 2 episodes. It's very charming. I think where it's probably gonna run into difficulty is just the fact that everything around it is just not very good. And I don't think that like right now Star Wars fans are looking for things that are going to quote unquote save Star Wars, right? After things like The Acolyte and Mandalorian season 3 weren't very good. It's like people want a Star Wars thing that is like going to save the franchise. And like, this is very good, but it's simply not the type of show that I think can do that. Like if The Acolyte, you know, which is a show about Jedi and Sith, were actually lived up to its expectations, and if we were getting like really good movies about Jedi and Sith that lived up to expectations, and Star Wars was like in a super healthy place, I think this would be like a really nice addition to all of that, where it's like, oh yeah, look, they're doing something different with Star Wars. It's like Stranger Things in space. But I think when all of that, everything around it is just not very good, this, like, I think Star Wars fans are looking at Stranger Things in space, and they're going like, well, this isn't what we want out of Star Wars. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's not this show's fault. You know, like, this show just is what it is. And I think it's good, and I recommend it. I just wonder how Star Wars fans are going to take it in the current environment that we're in. So, but yeah, let me know what you think about it. If you've seen it, let me know if you don't plan on seeing it because of the reasons that I've listed. But I would recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it. Even if you're like going into it with like your arms crossed, like, this isn't Star Wars, this isn't what I want. I think eventually, you know, your shield will fade, your frown will turn upside down, and I think you'll have a good time. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.